Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. As you can see, this is a totally different setup. And allow me to begin the video by thanking my friend Robert Alai for allowing me to use his private office. This is actually where I began this channel, and this office is no longer being used. So I think anytime I'm in Nairobi, I can now comfortably use this office. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, a lineup leaked in the Republic of Kenya. According to that lineup, Rigathi Gachagua will not be on the ballot as a presidential candidate in 2027. Instead, Rigathi Gachagua will support a team consisting of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential candidate. Kalonzo Musyoka will be deputized by George Natembeya. According to that lineup, Fred Okengo Matiang'i will be the prime minister or prime cabinet secretary. The list goes further and makes Eugene Wamalwa the Speaker of the National Assembly, while Martha Karua will be the Speaker of the Senate. I'm not sure whether they've actually agreed to that lineup. But in this video, I want us to look at that lineup. Because according to the lineup, Rigathi Gachagua will not be on the ballot. But he's laying claim to 50% of government. And I want to ask you this simple question, and I honestly require your honest answer. Do you think that lineup of Kalonzo Musyoka, Natembeya, Matiang'i supported by Rigathi Gachagua can win the presidency in 2027? Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya is going to be the most expensive general election we've ever witnessed in the Republic of Kenya. And removing William Ruto is actually the easiest and at the same time the most difficult task for the opposition. But can this lineup defeat William Ruto in 2027? In my honest opinion, the team can defeat William Samoei Arap Ruto. But before I explain why the team can defeat William Ruto, allow me to begin by explaining to you guys why it would be very, very difficult for this team to defeat William Ruto in 2027. Number one, if you look at the lineup is okay, but there is the stake of 50%, which Rigathi Gachagua is claiming. And you know, when Rigathi Gachagua talks of 50%, it's not talking of spreading it across the country. The 50% Rigathi Gachagua is talking about is Mount Kenya shares. I can assure you that is the deal breaker. That 50% claim, if indeed it's true, is the reason why this team will be easily defeated very early in the morning in 2027. So unless they figure out how to accommodate Rigathi without the 50% claim. But the other question is, do you think Rigathi Gachagua can deliver more than 50% of the votes to these guys, yet you don't want him to claim 50% stake in government? That cannot also not happen. And because there's no way they'll agree to that, I can assure you, nothing is going to happen. Number two, if you look at this team, it clearly, in my view, considers the numbers. but it lacks the face of Kenya. For example, when Raila Odinga and his Pentagon were formed, they looked at the numbers. But of course, they also had the face of Kenya. Someone like Joe Nyaga was brought on board, not because Joe Nyaga was going to bring the numbers, no. It was supposed to bring that face of Kenya. Again, in this list, there's even no Muslim. There is no way you can assume that Kenya is a Christian state. And because Kenya is a religious state, not constitutionally, the truth is they needed to bring a Muslim face. That's why Raila Odinga and his Pentagon team had Najib Balala at that time. Again, because you look at it, it's not really, you can't even really claim to be a national face because you have Eugene Wamalwa, you have Natembeya. Yeah? You have Martha, you have Rigathi. So there's a way the face of Kenya is not coming out so well because that's really what they are trying to do. And because of that, it would be easy for William Ruto to incite the rest against this team, unless they'll be willing to expand it further. So because of that, it's going to be very difficult. Number 3, and this is, I think, is going to be the most difficult part of this team, for this team. Will all of them accept what is being offered? Is there a chance that someone like Fred Okengo Matiang'i will accept the position of the Prime Minister? Because remember, Matiang'i is being pushed by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Will Martha Karua accept the position of the Speaker of the Senate when she was a running mate? When it's a known fact that Martha Karua is a veteran in politics. So because of those competing interests, I doubt. Again, this team, they've left out the GNCs. They needed to bring on board someone representing the face of the GNCs. I'm looking at the IBC registrations, and I can clearly see that the GNCs are not registering in large numbers. Maybe they'll do it. But because politics is a perceptual game, they needed to bring on board these GNCs, someone who can associate with them. In my view, someone like, let's say, Sifuna, someone like Babu, or let's say in the mountain, they could have picked on someone, let's say Methu, representing the face of the young people, which is lacking. And because of that, it's going to be very, very difficult. But if you leave alone those difficulties, this team can easily manage to defeat William Ruto in 2027. But that will also depend with how William Ruto is going to play his politics on the other side. Because, William Ruto is a sitting president. This is a man who won against a combined force of Raila and Ruto. And a combined force of Raila and Uhuru. That was a very serious team. So Ruto is also not sleeping. But these guys can actually manage to outwit him. Number 1, if you look at this team, it has the numbers. Politics is a game of numbers. This team has the numbers. The only few things they need to do is to go out and mobilize their supporters to register. How many people have registered, according to IBC numbers today, from Nyamira and from Kisii? How many people have registered as voters as of today from Machakos, Makwiny, and Mwingi? How many people have registered as new voters from Trans Nzoia? How many? So unless they'll be deliberate with those numbers, they will not. But if they are serious, they have the numbers. If you assume that they'll be able to consolidate the entire Luhya nation, which is going to be very difficult because a place like Kakamega, Busia might not go their way. But if you assume that they can consolidate the entire Luhya into supporting Kalonzo, if they can consolidate the Kisses to vote for Kalonzo, if they can consolidate the entire Mount Kenya to vote for Kalonzo, of course, Kalonzo is sure of the support from the Ukambani region. And if they can consolidate all those numbers, very early in the morning, they will win. But will they be able to do those? All those requires strategy. This team here, in my view, they lack that strategy. Number two, they also need to sustain anti-William Ruto's narrative. I'm not so sure whether currently the narratives which made William Ruto very unpopular are still sustainable. For example, the Gen Z protest, the cost of living, the unemployment. So they need something which they can actually use to sustain and rally the nation against this government. If they want to be able to get something to sustain anti-William Ruto's narrative, then, Kenyans, there's a way they keep on changing. You never know. William Ruto might do something tomorrow which will make him very popular. So they need, in my view, to come up with something which they can use to sustain the anti-narrative, Ruto's narrative. Number three, the developments in ODM party following the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, in my view, can also aid them in winning. If the ODM party, if the Orange Party will disintegrate, it would mean that one camp will go this side, one camp will go this side. Because for William Ruto, his strategy is simple. Ruto is banking on the support of ODM support base. Now, if that support base will not go his way, if they will split, then they will aid Kalonzo and the group. So the question is, are they making efforts to split the Orange Party? The other day, you saw what happened to Kahiga Mutai, who is perceived to be Rigathi Gachagua's ally. The statement he made celebrating the death of Raila Odinga. Is that the right way to win the support of ODM support base? I doubt. So they must also be intentional on how they can win the support of ODM support base. And number four, the narrative. They must come up with a clear narrative. And for them to come up with a clear narrative, they must invest in proper communication strategy. That's what I believe. They must get their communications right so that they can communicate to Kenyans what Kenyans want to hear. And lastly, I think for this team to win, they are also going to depend 100% on the moves which Uhuru Kenyatta and Fred Matiang'i are going to make. If Uhuru Kenyatta and Fred Matiang'i will bolt out of this team, it would be simple. The entire Kisii will not vote for this team. It would be simple. The entire Mount Kenya will not vote for Kalonzo. Some will go with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So I don't know, but for me, this team, if well managed, can defeat Ruto. But Ruto is not sleeping. Ruto is doing everything within his power to ensure that he retains the presidency. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.